Hello, my name is Miles McNamara. I'm the developer of the WP Job Manager Field Editor plugin, and I'm going to quickly go through some of the new features and fixes that are included in the version 1.70 release. That's today, which is actually the day after my birthday, funny enough. But as you can see here on the changelog, there's a lot of new features and things that are fixed. That's kind of why it's taken a while to get out this new update. I was trying to get the conditional fields included with this update, but with all the issues with WooCommerce 3 coming out and everything, I had to kind of go ahead and get it rolled out as quick as possible. So let's go ahead and get into it and start going right through everything that's available. As you can see here, we've got compatibility is now with WooCommerce 3, as well as the advanced paid listings, which was released by Astoundify. Some new features have also added is the max upload file size, and one of the other ones which I'm really proud of is the new date and time pickers, and then the shortcodes, and we'll go through some of these. So let's go ahead and dive right into it and get started. So we'll come over here to the fields, and let's go ahead and check out the max upload file size and the new date pickers. So let's go and create a new field. We'll come over here, and you'll see here we now have two new field types here. You'll see we have the date picker and the time picker. So let's go ahead and pick one of these, and we'll just say job date picker 1. We'll just call it date picker standard. And you'll see under this advanced tab, you'll see we now have a picker mode. We can select the different types of modes. The single standard is going to be your basic date picker. The multiple will allow you to select multiple dates, and the range will allow you to select a range of dates. So on this one, we're just going to do a standard picker. Just leave it at that. Now you can see here you can also set the minimum day and the max day as well. So you'll notice here if you read this, it gives you a little bit more information. So if you didn't want them to be able to select anything before today, just enter in today here, save it, and that's how it'll configure it. If you wanted to say 14 days previous to today, then you just type in -14. And same with the max date. If you wanted to add so they can only select up to 14 days from the day that they're submitting that listing, you just add +14. So let's just go ahead and set this one today just to give you an example. Go ahead and save that field. Then we'll go ahead and add another one. Let's go ahead and add one of these time pickers. Or actually, let's do a range. So we'll do a date picker job range demo. Range, and we'll come over here, select this and set it as range. And you can do the same min max on these. It's up to you. I'm not going to set this one for right now, just for this demo. We'll go ahead and set that. And then let's go ahead and add a, so let's do job multiple dates. Multiple dates. Come over here, we'll select the multiple one. And then I'll show you just to give you an example. We'll say they can only select 7 days from now and 7 days previous to now. Save that one. And then we'll do one of the time pickers. So we'll do job time picker. Like that. And now you'll see here the configuration options you have available is the minute increment. So by default it's 5 minutes. If you wanted to change it to 1, you just put 1 there. Completely up to you, whatever you want to do. So let's go ahead and save that. And then if you come over to the field editor settings, you'll notice now also under the fields area right here, you'll see you can also pick the type of theme you want to use. There's a bunch of different themes that are available, so you can choose from there and see which one you want. So let's go ahead and show you what the basic one looks like. You'll see here we now have these ones here. So the multiple dates, you'll see it comes out as plain Jane, but you can select 1, 2, 3. You can select multiple dates. For the time picker, it'll drop this down. You can just select between what time you want, and you'll see it goes up by 5 minutes each time, which that is a setting you can change in there. So let's go ahead and switch this over. We'll show you what, say, the material red one looks like. Refresh that. You'll see here now this is the material red one. You'll notice this date picker is a lot cleaner, a lot nicer looking than the other jQuery UI one. See, now I can't go up or down because I forgot I changed it so you can't select past 7 days before today and 7 days past today. So you see how that kind of works. So let's show you how the range one works. So the range one you select from here through there. It's just a standard picker. And that's kind of what the new date picker and the time pickers kind of look like that are available. So that's one good thing that's included in the new release, and that's those two right there. So let's go ahead and do the, let's go back over to job fields. Let's go ahead and do a file upload. Select file upload, and we'll set it to Ajax. Now let's do multiple. And you'll notice under advanced, now under max uploads, and I'm just going to set something here as, just for example. You'll see 4. Now this version should not show that comma in there. Don't put the comma in there when you put the max upload size. It should be, so if you wanted it to be 1 megabyte, just put 1 MB. If you did want it to be 1,000, actually put in 1,000. Don't put that comma in there. So for this example, I'm just do 1 megabyte. Save that, max up 4, refresh that, come over here, let's go back. Now you'll notice it also shows on here now maximum file upload size. So we'll come in here, we'll select one. So now when we go to upload it, it goes, oops, max allowed upload file size is this. And that's the same as it works for the standard ones. So that's one of the new features that is also included as well. Now you also see that here you can set the user's avatar based on the meta key, which I don't know if you noticed that, but in the field editor settings right below the theme, you'll see here we have custom avatar. And so this can be used along with the auto populate feature if you want to use that to save a file upload, which needs to be a single file. But then you can just set that value here and it'll automatically use that key for their avatar. Then we've also got the new output label over that. We've got a bunch of different settings. You're really going to have to go through them. You'll see there's a bunch of new auto output locations. The one thing here you'll see you can auto populate from the URL. So let's go back over to the job fields. Let's just go check out one of our job fields. So see here under populate, you'll see now we have the option URL populate, which you can enable. And so what that'll allow you to do is if, say you want to link to the submit listing page from another page, and say you want it to automatically select a value, all you have to do is just put, question mark, whatever the meta key is, equal to, and then the value you want it to select. If you want to do multiple values, then just separate them by a comma. If you're doing taxonomies, make sure you use the slugs. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward. I'm sure you guys will be able to figure that out pretty easily. If not, just let me know. You'll see we've got some new locations to output fields, the WP editor, full width and admin area. Let's go ahead and dive right into the new shortcode handling, which is going to be very useful for a lot of you, which I know the most commonly used method for outputting fields is using shortcodes. And as I recommend to everybody that you would use, install some type of a plugin that will give you a WP editor where you can put that in a widget. So, we'll just do this example here. So with the new way this works, so before if you had a custom field, so you'd have custom field key equals, and let's go see what our field was. We'll just do this, just an example. Now before this was the only way you could output that meta key or that shortcode right there. That was it. That's the only way you could do it. Well, no longer is that the case. Now with this latest release, you can now also do multiple things. So the first thing you can do is by just closing that same custom field, and now what this will do is this will actually take, and I'm just doing this just to show you so it looks right formatting wise. So what you do here, this is almost like a basic if statement. So anything you put in here will only show if this field has a value. So what you can do is you can take this to extremes and really customize the way it outputs. So if you wanted to actually output this field, all you could do here is, just say time picker, and just do this, and then you just do the custom field key equals job time picker. And then what that'll do is that'll only output time picker and the value if there is a value. Now, let's say you wanted to dig in a little bit deeper and you wanted to get a little bit more intricate. There's now multiple options or attributes that you can set in this shortcode to kind of fine tune it. So let's go ahead and start with this one, and this is going to be just for standard values that are not multiple values, which would be an array. So the first one we're going to have here, you'll see we have the key here. So let's come over here. You'll see we have if equals, if contains, else. So the if equals and the if contains, those are actually going to be, if you wanted to come in here, you could put if equals, and then we'll say, you know, I don't know, 12 p.m. And so what this will do is this will even fine tune it so it'll only output what is here if this field equals 12 p.m. exactly. Now, you could also do if contains, and then we'll say, you know, if contains p.m. This is only p.m. It'll only output this field if it contains p.m. So it could still have 12, you know, colon, whatever in it, but it'll only have that. Now, by default, it is not case sensitive. If you want to make it case sensitive, you can just add this in here and either put true or 1 in this value, and then that will only return true if, you know, it actually matches the case. But by default, that's not going to happen. So now let's say that you wanted to do this with a, we'll say this, so this file upload. So we'll say you want to do it this one, and this, since it is a multiple file upload, what we have for multiple file uploads is instead of using if contains, what it's going to have is it's going to be a different wording so that it handles it. I figured it would make it easier for everybody to understand how it works. So with multiple values, it's going to be has value. So what it does is it'll loop through each one of these fields that's in this, so it's on here. So I could say, you know, if has value, so let's do this, has value domain.com/some file. So this has value is an exact match, and it'll say yes, this is exact match for some file.png. Now, you're not always going to want to do this, and what this will do is this actually goes through each value, and if one of those values has this in it, then it will actually output what's here. So now if you only wanted to check if, say, if it was a PNG file, so it has value containing, and then we could just remove this, not PNG, and then yes, this is a PNG file. So this will actually output whatever is here in this field only if one of the values in this multiple field has, you know, .png in it. Now, let's go back to kind of the basics, and we'll just say some field, some single string field. Now, what you could do is you can also negate these statements. So on this field, we're going to say this is a custom field, this is the key. If equals, we'll say that value. What you can also do is you can also place a not statement in here. What this does is this says, okay, if this field, if it does not exactly equal that value, output what is here. So if this field does not exactly match that value, you will see this. Now, to take this even further, you could also add in an else. So what this does is this will actually process it here, so this will actually change it and do the else. So let's remove this negate statement. Just know that you can use the not by adding not in here, which will actually do the opposite of whatever it is. So if it's not equal to. So let's remove this so there's no confusion over that. So we'll say, you know, if this field equals that value, so this field equals that value. Whatever is under the else statement, if that's not the case, this field does not equal that value. And you can use this for any of the fields that you want to use. And again, so those arguments that are available, and I'll make sure and get the documentation up as soon as possible, are going to be if equals, if contains, and those are for single strings, and then you're also going to have has value for multiple or array values, or has value containing. And then, as I mentioned, you can also just add in not as to negate that statement, which will give you the opposite of that. So that's kind of how the shortcodes work. And like I said, I'll get the documentation up as soon as possible so you guys have something to actually revert back to and see what's going on. Another new feature that was added was the setting for Facet Wp. And what this will do is if you set a field, a taxonomy field, to output as a link, and you have this setting enabled in the field editor settings, what it'll actually do is if you have a facet set up for that taxonomy and it finds that taxonomy, it'll actually link to the actual listings page, but it'll actually filter based on that facet. So that's a new cool feature that's added. You'll see we've got a few other things here. Some fixes that were kind of pushed out. I think that's pretty much about it for the major things I wanted to go through for now. So, you know, test it out, give it a try. Let me know if you guys have issues. Sorry if there's been a delay, you know, in getting back with you guys, and I do appreciate all of your time, and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.